Good day, everyone. So today we're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of showing you all the work we've done on the boat since our last episode, we're going to take you with us at the North Sail Loft where we picked up our brand new sails. We're going to meet with Geoff, sail expert at North Sails Toronto. He's the one who helped us choose well-driven sails, considering our sailing plan, needs, and budget. Geoff will provide us with lots of information and will be sharing the details for each of our sails. Let's jump right in.
That is the bottom batten, probably the
Okay.
longest one. We'll put it together in a minute. Batten 3. So that is the top batten. Right, so it's biggest, bigger, big, and small.
So they just slide in.
Yeah, it's important that you get the arrows up, right? Because these arrows match, right?
Yeah.
Because of the scarf joint, if you look inside of there. It's really handy. This makes so, you can store them, but even more important, you can ship them. Because
Yeah.
shipping really long back, you can't coil these up. And then you don't want to push them in too hard, and then you kind of like bang them like that. You should be able to, you can
Okay.
kind of loosen them up, right? Okay, and there's a little pencil
Yeah.
mark there. All right, so battens, all our battens are tapered. So that's the bottom. That's 2. That's 3, and the top batten is laced in. There's a stairway up there if you want to come up on the table here. Okay, so the jib has a much more rugged bag, but this is a nice, Cordura, and
Yeah.
they're tagged here.
Yeah.
Full batten. And these are the tides slides for your
Yeah.
tides track. Presumably, the mast has a tides track on it now.
Yeah. So they just feed in. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. And the bottom is like
Yeah,
a
the
little
bottom
metal
top.
cover. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pull the pin. Yeah. Yep. So they should be plug and play. Right. That's the clue tie down.
Okay.
Extra sail ties. You'll
Yeah.
want these. And there should be a okay, spreader patch
Okay.
when you're going downwind and the sail leans up against the spreader tips. You want some abrasion. These are a little bit,
They're just glued on.
yeah. So
Okay.
you can do it yourself, or if I'm there, I'll happily help you with it. It's hard to know where they go. It's nicer, I think,
Yeah.
nice to put them on this, mark,
Okay.
get a good mark. But see this paper here?
Yeah.
There's paper also inside.
Okay.
Right, so it's sticky all the way through. Right, so you don't want to. If you just do the, it'll fall right off.
Okay.
Right? And then in here, there's some marketing stuff. If you can't sleep at night, you can read that. This is our quality control list. The only thing that might be useful to you is their dimensions of the sail are recorded here.
You have this in stock in your computer, so I can just grab the phone.
Right.
Please.
You're pretty sure you're going to lose this, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to make sure that you understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We could look off.
Okay.
All right. You got a little North sticker there.
Yeah. Sticker is always important.
And then some instructions on the batten box.
Okay.
But I'm going to show you right now. Okay. And there's a couple Allen wrenches. Oh, there's the bird.
There's the bird.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a big bird.
Let's pull it out. Hey, Jay, can I move this?
Oh my God, that's really nice.
One, two, three, four. 4 battens, 2 big reefs, 3 reefs. So the upper reef is very small.
What's a CAN 2006? What does it mean?
Did you put a number on it?
No?
I don't know why there's a number on there. We'll have to look at. It's a sticker that can peel right off. I don't know. Maybe it's an error. Okay, so this is a proprietary batten box, right?
Okay.
And the tricky part here, see this little Allen wrench here?
Yeah.
When you unscrew that, it comes up into a recess,
Okay.
right? So that's how it gets locked in.
Okay.
So that would be this little guy here, right? So you put that up, you unscrew it to kind of lock it, right? Right, and this right here is a piston.
Okay.
It's like a worm gear. So
That moves this. back
right.
and forth.
See how it's moving that way?
Yeah. So that's how you get your tension.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So all battens have a taper. It doesn't bend symmetrically, right?
Okay.
So we want the aft end, the leech of the sail, to be straighter. We want
Flatter,
the
yeah.
forward end to have more
Yeah.
bend in it, right? So a full-length batten will bend at about the 45% mark.
Okay.
When we get to the jib or whatever, there's non-full-length battens. They'll be much flexier on the
Okay.
leading edge, right?
Okay.
But think about it like an airplane wing.
Yeah.
It's
The-
you want
the
it
leading
stiff in
edge,
the back, right? Yeah. Okay. So it goes in right here. And this little thing in there just takes some slack out of it.
Okay.
And then
Lock it in place. So how do you know
how do you know
when
when
it's
you have
tight
enough tension, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to induce camber to the sail. You're not trying to bend the sail.
You just want it snug.
The batten's job is just to hold the sail out to the end of the batten, right?
Yeah.
If you go too tight, there we go.
It's going to start arcing.
Well, a typical, yeah, you'll put a bow in it for
Yeah.
sure, but you'll start to see wrinkles this like a football shape,
Okay.
right? Because it's under tension, right? The batten pocket itself will elongate a little bit over
Okay.
the life of the sail, right? So that's why you have to have some adjustment on it, right? If you're too loose, it'll look like an accordion,
Yeah.
right? And typically right in here. So I put my finger, if I can get my finger under there and it's too loose,
Okay.
that's where it'll
Okay.
collapse, right? Typically, you think it's tight, you put the sail up and you look up and you're like, it could be a little tighter, right? But you
So
know,
you're trying to, when it's up with no wind, you don't want any wrinkle. You want it nice
just
and
smooth,
flat.
right? Yeah. And if it's, you don't need tighter than that.
Okay.
That's where the mistake people make. The leech line, when you're reefed, right? So you've got a purchase system here, right? So when that starts to flutter sometimes, if you get like a lot of wind, that could be a real problem. So I'll put this in, just rotate that over. Right, so let's just say I have to put that much leech line on it to keep it from fluttering. Now when I shake the reef out, this will be way up in the air.
Yeah. Get it.
So you pull it from underneath and it pops out.
Okay.
Right? And the reef line is anchored with a bowline, I think, at that end.
Yeah.
So you could adjust it. And then this line here will go into, it'll emerge at each reef point.
So
Yeah.
that's your first, second, and third reef.
Right. Okay. Let's just say you have this reef in and you got all that sail bagging around, right?
Yeah.
You're going to tie these up, right? So you tie it to itself over the
Okay.
top of the boom.
Okay.
Again, your leash line here. I think it's always a good idea to put a hitch through there. Because when the sail's luffing sometimes,
Yeah.
it can shake out
Yeah.
and you always recleating again. This is around the boom to itself. It's Dyneema
Yeah.
webbing. Should self-explanatory, and then your outhaul clips there, right?
Yeah.
You want to get this pretty tight
Yeah.
because it'll move a little bit, right? Okay, and then the foot has a little positive curvature there.
Yeah.
So when you're reaching or something like that, you make it a little flutter, and this is up at the gooseneck, right?
Right,
So
same thing. Can pull.
yeah, same thing.
Okay.
I just put a little bit in that little hitch in there. All right, whatever you need. As the sail ages, the bolt rope, will shrink faster than the sail. So when the sail gets, I don't know, 5 years old or something like that, you're finding you're putting a lot of halyard tension and it's hard to get the sail smooth, right?
Okay.
We could unstitch all these.
Yeah.
There's one at each reef,
Okay.
right? And then pull it tight and this will retract and we re-seize them, okay? That's why it's hanging out. It's not a
pretty
mistake.
smart.
All right, and then floppy ears.
So there's one on each side.
Yep,
Yeah.
on both sides. What you might find though, that as you start to reef, the stack height will get higher, right? So it'll get harder. You may have to add a little piece of Dyneema, or we could come back and lengthen that, or we could hand stitch that webbing, make it longer. It's going to be variable, through the boat, right? Because you might find you go to hook that into other hooks.
Yeah, hooks on each side.
Yeah. So that may not, certainly on the third reef with all these stack, you may not get it. Like it can only fold this far, right? Like that might be no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get it to the hook.
Yeah.
Can we use a dynamo extension on it?
Yeah.
With
You
four
just tie
stem
a little loop or something. Yeah.
While Pierre and Geoff are packing up, here's the mainsail specs.
Patches for where the stanchions.
Yeah.
The sail might come into contact with the stanchions.
That's a big sail too.
Yeah. There's the reef. That's where the jib sheets would
Yeah.
attach when you're reefed, right? Same thing. You can tie the sail up to itself. So you've used these hanks before, right?
Yeah.
Piston hanks.
Full at the bottom. Yeah.
Just be careful. Like this part here can bend a little bit if you get it caught on something, or if you put it on backwards or something like that. And you can straighten it out, but it has to be quite straight for this piston to go through there. Okay, this is a leech entered batten, unlike the mainsail, right? Here's the trick. People lose these battens fairly often because they do it wrong. Right?
Okay.
So there is a slot here,
Underneath the red.
right? And there's another one outside of that. Well, it goes to there, right?
Okay.
This is where the Velcro is.
Okay.
So the Velcro here.
Oh yeah. Underneath the red.
Under the red. There's a nice big webbing pad there. Sometimes it's a little hard to get the other one started, so I pull it out a little bit. This will go in here.
Okay.
Yeah, need to get.
It's wide.
It's a little tricky when it loosens up. It gets a little easier as it ages. Okay. And then you pull it back out. And then you can take this. I poke it in so it's just hanging out
Yeah.
a little bit, right? And then to open it, you see how that's over the red though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's mated. That won't come out.
Okay.
If you stick it into the same pocket the batten is, it'll come
Yeah.
out. It'll seem like it's in
Yeah.
until it comes out.
The Velcro won't be
Yeah.
biting the other part.
Yeah. Yeah. This is always a pain to get them out.
Good thing you don't do that every day.
It's when they're new, it's the
Yeah.
hardest. It gets tilted here.
There you go.
Okay. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Right. Once you put them in, you'll probably never take them out.
Yeah.
And then when you fold the sail, you want to fold it what's called a leech flake. So the battens are all on top of each other.
Okay.
That way you can fold it in half and it doesn't take up much space, right? All right, so up here it's a little different. Yeah, that's for you. I did it this way because the top batten, if you're ever going to lose a batten, a sail luffs at a frequency relative to its chord length, right? So the top of the sail is going to luff a lot faster than the bottom. So this one, I don't want. This one takes a beating. All right, so this is a little bit complicated. So this goes through here and out. Batten goes in. Here's the tricky part. You gotta go back up through here again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then it just goes,
Tie it again.
yeah. Back there again. Whatever tension you need, you can see how to do that, right? Right, and you just lock it off.
Yeah.
And then cover it up. So you won't lose that. You see how I did it? See how this goes back through there again? Doesn't go over the top?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we first go sailing, like we've done all this from drawings, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's always a risk that something doesn't fit quite right. And that's our job is,
Okay, I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah. So, for example, the girth of this sail, if it's too big, it'll hit your spreaders.
Yeah.
Right. So that's we'll see how when we go sailing. So it's this leech is pretty straight.
Yeah.
If we did a roll of furling, you'd have quite a bit of hollow.
Yeah.
Even with battens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it gets windy, pull the sail down and maybe take the halyard under a cleat or something like that and then tension it.
Yeah.
So it can't go out. So the back of the sail can drag in the water, come off the boat, over under the lifelines, whatever. But you need to hold the head down if it gets windy. And but once again, when the sail gets flogging, it's these inboard ends that are the most vulnerable, right? Because it's got like a stiff part in the sail. It's hinging right there.
Right. It's probably the first thing's gonna wear too.
Yeah. So for me, even though I'm maybe racing more than I'm cruising, when I hoist the sail, a head sail, I try to do it when I'm going dead downwind.
Yeah.
Because there's less.
Yeah, less tension.
You don't want to be motoring, and when you're hoisting it, you don't want to have it beating against your mast as you're hoisting it, right? So if you go downwind and all the load is down. In ideal conditions, you might come out of the harbor, go into the wind, and then back up. Whenever you transition from forward to backward, there's a period where you can't steer, right?
Yeah.
And if you get going too fast, your rudder, the trailing edge of your rudder could go one way or the other, right? So you want to get the boat moving a little bit backwards and then hoist the main while you're going backwards. That's the kindest thing. You can't always do that, but it's a nice practice, and everything just gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
But you got to be making sure you don't back into something. Yeah. And then turn the boat, get some speed up to go downwind, hoist the jib downwind, and then head up and trim.
Why choosing Ank instead of a roller furling head sail system? For both of them, there are multiple pros and cons. This is a list that we have considered before making our decision. What made us tip over the Ank side? It came down to the following reason. Less mechanical parts that could potentially fail. Less windage in strong wind. We can remove the sail entirely. More efficient sail. Anything that could help Wildhaven is a big plus. Less cost at the beginning, no need to buy a roller further, and less weight aloft. Now here's the jib spec.
That is the storm jib. It's very orange.
My name is Daniel.
Daniel.
Yep. Likewise. If I were you, I might make a soft shackle and put it on there and leave it on there.
Leave it on, yeah.
That way you're not trying to thread it through on the bow in 40 knots. Yeah. So these are, they're called bang-on hanks, we call them. So they just snap right open like that.
Okay.
Put them put the sail tie, you know, they just go right through like that. These will be a little bit gentler on Dyneema than the piston hanks. All right, so what you'll notice is that both corners of the sail are available to you. You actually want the snuffer to be only as long as this corner here. So if this is all the way up, you know, hidden inside there, right, like it can go a little bit up, but you know, when you're putting it away in the bag, you actually want it just to be just like this so that you can attach your sheet to it. See how there's these sort of three pieces like this?
Yeah.
And the sail is outside of all three. That's how it should be.
Okay.
If it ever sort of got tangled or something and wound up going through here somehow, that's wrong. You want it to be, you know, these three ropes together like that with the sail going out on the other side. And then you'll see that this one here, through the same rope, this one disappears up into that sleeve. And there's a separate sleeve. Some of the earlier snuffers had the rope all in the same one.
Okay.
And it can chafe the sail actually. So this is better. The only other thing to look at sort of down here before we pull the sail out is they call this a jibulator.
Okay.
So your sheet can drop into here and it doesn't fall over outside the boat. But yeah, if you want to pull the rope, I'll hold this sail and then you can just give that a pull. So if you're sailing, of course, now the sail goes and fills itself up. So when the sail opens like that, the collar is not going to want to fall down by itself.
Yeah, because it's inflated.
Because it's inflated. Yeah. But if you want to, it's a good idea to take your two ropes together like this and then secure them. Usually people put it at the base of the mast somewhere. You'll obviously have a little bit of extra. Just tie. It doesn't have to be tight, but just secure it so it's not flying around and you can go and get it when you have to go and douse the thing. We can pull this
pretty nice color
a little bit. Have a look.
Wow, really nice color.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's nice.
This is actually the design we chose. I guess you guys will have to wait until we fly her for the first time to see her in her full glory.
That's pretty neat. Wow.
So when you're putting the sail back in the bag, I don't know if you've seen bags like this one before. We have these little straps here.
Okay.
So I like to take these and I match them up with the corners. So the green one will go with the blue one.
Okay.
That. You take that, put it through, and then just back down on itself like that. And then I'll take the foot of the sail. Put that all in like that, and then you can take the strap there, pull that through. And so now, take all this, put all this into the bottom. Take this guy. You don't really have to, you know, coil this and tie it up or anything, but just sort of run it like that. Make sure it's nice and organized. This guy in like that. What you do, you kind of do a zigzag back and forth. So this is where the halyard attaches, of course. And we have another strap right here. This goes through like this. across to this guy. Down like that. And then you take these guys through here, like that. You can pull on this. And that's that. So what's handy about these bags and about having the corners attached to the outside is that when you go to launch the sail, all you do is take it out of the hatch or wherever you're storing it, take it up on deck, and then you've got these nice buckles here that attaches to the lifeline, so it doesn't go for a swim. You got one on each side.
Yeah.
And then before you even take the sail out of the bag, all you have to do is just go like this, and you've got your corners right here. So you can attach your sheets, you can attach your tack line, you can attach your halyard. Then you open up the bag,
Then it just
pull it up, and off you go.
Well, that's it for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We know it was different. So maybe you learned something through Geoff's and Daniel's explanation, or maybe you knew everything and you were just curious. But in any case, we are very grateful that you watched our video until the end. It was our first time ordering new sails, and we must praise North Sail for the smooth process. It was easy to deal with them. And shout out to Geoff. Geoff is very passionate about sailing, any type of sailing, racing, cruising, day tripping. That's it for today. Next time, we're going to show you the tiller completed and the process of building it. We should have a bowsprit installed because Pierre is working on that right now. And we're going to update you with all the latest work we've done on the boat. As of March 1st, so when this video should be posted on YouTube, there are going to be only 244 days left before we launch Well Driven. So it's coming fast. The clock is ticking. So until then, we're going to work.